Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, this is Red Berry Leo here, and welcome back to another Civil Air Patrol video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about Aerospace Education Officers. I'm going to talk about the position, what the role is, and what the responsibilities are associated with it. If you are currently pursuing it and have not looked at it, please feel free to take a look at what's linked in the description. It's CAPP Pamphlet 215, which is the Aerospace Education Officer Specialty Track Guide. Whew, that's a mouthful. But it's the document that has all of the requirements that you're supposed to know, and it will tell you where to get additional resources. Like recently I talked to someone and they were like, a lot of CAP stuff is like all over the place and you have to find it. Like sometimes it's on the national website, sometimes it's on e-services. Well, see, the specialty track guide, you just look for it, CAP Pamphlet 215, and then bam, it's got everything in there, and then you can search up in the Googles and the search engines for the other documents that are associated with it. So let's talk about a little bit with what the position description is. An aerospace education officer is someone who is promoting STEM within the unit, within the group, and within the local schools, at least the squadron level aerospace education officer, or the AEO. And this person can do external or internal activities. They promote model rocketry, stellar explorers, programs like those that really get young people into aerospace, potentially later on, whether they be a pilot or meteorologist, some career associated with aerospace. So let's talk about the knowledge requirements for getting your technician rating within the AEO specialty track. The first thing that you need to be able to do is know what the process is for getting into the specialty track, because if you're eventually going to be the lead AE officer within the unit, then it's really good that you know the process so that you can explain it to other people. And so I will explain it right now. When you are first coming into the unit, typically you should have that first talk, and I'll link a little thing up here for people who want to know more about the first talk. But by establishing a discussion with the new person that has joined and figuring out what they want to do, we say, okay, so pick one or two specialty tracks that you're really interested in pursuing. It doesn't necessarily have to be related to your career. We'll teach you the things that you would like to learn about. We'll help you find a mentor and allow you to progress. At least in theory, that's how it should happen. And upon deciding that you want to do the AE officer specialty track, you talk to a professional development officer, the deputy commander for seniors, or the squadron commander in order to get appointed into that. Most likely you would talk to a professional development officer, and they can assign you as an assistant aerospace education officer. If there isn't already a primary, then you would be assigned as the primary, but in most cases you would be assigned as an assistant when you first come on, and then you would also be added to the specialty track. Within e-services, the professional development officer will go into specialty tracks and can add you into the aerospace education officer specialty track. And you would not be technician yet, you would just be like blank, not non-rated. And then once you finish all the requirements for technician, it will change to technician. And the professional development officer will go with you through all of the requirements to make sure you're checking everything off. And then for the duty assignment, that's actually under the personnel tab within e-services. So they will go from e-services, hit the menu thing, go all the way down to duty assignment, and they will select senior member assignments, find you, and add you as either the assistant or primary AE officer. So the next part of it is that you need to have knowledge of the CAPP Pamphlet 215 or 215, and that's the one that I talked about earlier. It's really an important document to know how you progress within the specialty track. So again, please look through it and have a general understanding of what the requirements are of you for that position. Next is knowing STEM kits and what they are and how to get them and what the process is. So an AE STEM kit is something that you request from National, and National will only send you one kit at a time, so you have to request it, they will send it to you, and then you have to review it, provide feedback, and then you can request another one. I think things might be a little bit different from COVID, but that is the typical procedure for getting the STEM kits. And these can include drones, they can include like flight simulators, there are different ones available for you to request, so That's also a really good way to recruit people, because if you go to an open house post-COVID, if you go to an open house and you want people to try out a flight simulator, that might get them really interested in CAPP, or letting them take a look at the drone that people are flying. Of course, only the certified people are flying the drones, but you get what I mean. It's very interesting and exciting for people to have hands-on things to engage with, because then it'll stick out in their mind and they'll think back like, oh, what did I get out of that career fair that I went to? Oh, the Civil Air Patrol booth let me like fly a plane on the computer, and I want to fly a plane in real life, so I'm going to go do that. And that's how we recruit, and we also retain people that way, by getting them into the planes and getting them into those hands-on activities. So those are the STEM kits, and again, that is something requested through national headquarters in order to be obtained. So next is the Aerospace Education Excellence Hands-On Award Program. It's a very long name, but it's essentially where you do activities both within your unit and outside of your unit to promote STEM and aerospace. So whether that be conducting Stellar Explorers and having most of the cadets participate in that, that can count. And having external outreach, so maybe working actively with elementary school teachers to get into the ACE program, and working with some of the middle schools and high schools for the teachers to become aerospace education members, where they can get their own free STEM kits, just like the aerospace education officer can, and promoting STEM within their classrooms. There's also like external outreach events where like you might have the cadets helping with things, like there might be a little model rocketry thing, like you could build little foam Goddard rockets where you pull them back and you fling them. That would be external AE, because you're trying to inspire people within the community to pursue STEM. And it's honestly a really fun activity. So there are a list of different activities that should be done with the AEX award, and you go into e-services saying that you've completed the requirements for the AEX award, and then it's given to the units that complete those requirements. So next is being able to outline a plan for how to get the AE members, or the aerospace education members, implement ACE within the local schools, in addition to the teacher orientation program that can be provided to instructors. Okay, so the first part, just as a reminder, aerospace education members are not like full members of Civil Air Patrol. They don't have to attend meetings. They can like occasionally, like once in a blue moon, but if they genuinely want to be part of Civil Air Patrol, they have to become a full member, and they lose their aerospace education member status. And I will include the iCard, or I will include in the iCard some information on aerospace education members. It talks about the different types of membership, but that is a major one to bring in teachers. One of the benefits of being an aerospace education member is that there is the teacher orientation program where teachers get to fly. How exciting! They don't have to pay anything, and it gives them the chance to see what it's like to fly, and then try to inspire their students to get involved with Civil Air Patrol in addition to flying. I mentioned the ACE program a little bit earlier, which is the Aerospace Connections in Education program, which is a way for Civil Air Patrol to work actively with elementary schools to like set up a little weather station and teach kids about the weather, and provide resources to teachers who are in elementary school to integrate that into their curriculum. Because sometimes school systems don't have in-depth information on space or on aerospace principles, basic physics, and so the ACE program tries to introduce those concepts to younger students. And then when they grow up, they will be more familiar with it, and hopefully they will be inspired to pursue aerospace later on. The next point is earned versus nominated awards. And the difference between the two is that earned is something that you can just get by completing the requirements, and then nominated is when someone has to actually put your name forward and say, here is an example of an excellent aerospace education officer. Let's put them in for this award. So like the Brewer Award is a nominated award. And in the Brewer Award, you have 4 categories. There's the cadet, there's the senior member, there's the individual or organization outside of Civil Air Patrol, and then there's the lifetime award. And I'm not going to talk about it too much, but it goes through the same process of nomination that I mentioned in my awards video if you want to check that out. Sorry, I'm plugging a lot this video, but it's a good award to recognize people for their accomplishments within aerospace education. But then there's also the earned awards. So if you know what the Jaeger Award is, it's an award that you get for completing a test, a pretty rigorous long test where it asks you questions out of the Journey of Flight book. And it's a huge textbook, but it's open book, so it's not as challenging as some people may think it is. I had to take it closed book because I took it for my spots, and you're supposed to know the book for the spots, so I guess it was a little bit harder, but the Jaeger Award is earned. And so once you complete those requirements, you're given the award. So I'm going to talk about the next two items, which is the plan of action, or the POA, and the activity report. Both of them are done through e-services, and if you're not sure where to find it, just go under aerospace education, and then it goes AE, POA, and activity report. And both of those are input into e-services, and they're supposed to be submitted at the end of the fiscal year to just show the wing level, like, this is what we have completed for our aerospace education over the past year. One of them is for more activities, and then the other one is like the plan of action of like how you conduct the unit's meetings with aerospace education, what your curriculum is, and everything that you want to integrate moving forward. The next one is to describe the SUI process for a squadron, which I have not talked about on here, but I will be doing a video on that soon. So I'm not going to go in depth on that, but being able to describe the SUI process is a requirement for obtaining your technician rating. And then the last one is going in through e-services and taking the technician level test for the AE officer. So if you're not familiar with it, there is a learning management system called Axis, AXIS, spelled like that, and you go into there and you can complete your aerospace education officer technician rating test from that point. And once you have completed all of those things and you have all of that knowledge in your noggin, then you have what knowledge is expected of someone who has a technician rating for aerospace education officer. In terms of service requirements, you are required to serve as the AE officer, either the assistant or primary, for at least 6 months in order to get your technician rating. So even if you have all the knowledge within the first month, you have to wait 6 months in that position before you can officially have that technician rating. So that was everything that I wanted to cover for this video. I didn't want to go into too much depth, but I did go into a little bit of depth on how to get your technician rating for aerospace education officer. So there you go. If you got any additional questions for me, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and that is all, folks. Until next time, toodles.